Hi friends, today we will discuss on Matthew Arnold. This audio material is created by Dr. Jaswant Rathod of Government Arts and Commerce College, Netrang, District Bharuch in Gujarat with a special purpose to help the students of English literature. Arnold has a high conception of the vocation of a critic and the function of criticism. The critic is himself cultured, he knows the best that is known and thought in the world. He helps others to be cultured. He also makes literary activity possible by establishing a current of noble ideas. The critic performs another important function as well. He rouses men out of the self-satisfaction and complacency, for such complacency is vulgarizing and retarding. He raises them above practical consideration by making them contemplate the ideally perfect. Practical considerations are vulgarizing. They make man incapable of perceiving fine distinctions. Arnold refers to such incapacity as Philistinism. The critic must know the best that is known and thought in the world. He must know the best not in literature alone, but in other subjects as well. He must be a man of stupendous knowledge and understanding. One who rises above personal consideration and with missionary zeal to make the beat ideas prevail. It is only through such catholicity of reading that the critic can combat the sins of parochialism and provincialism. To find out what is the best and noblest, the critic must free himself from certain false standards of judgment, which comes in the way of his real estimate. Such false standards are the personal and historical. By personal estimate, Arnold means an intrusion of critics' own likes and dislikes in his judgment of literature. His personal affinities, likings and circumstances have a great power to sway the estimate of a work of art. A real estimate of poetry rises above personal predilections and prejudices. Personal estimate results in the hysterical, eruptive and the aggressive manner in literature. The historic estimate is equally fallacious and misleading. A poem may be valuable historically, but it may not be of much value, as it is in itself. Arnold writes, "The course of development of nations' language, thought and poetry is profoundly interesting, and by regarding a poet's work as a stage in this course of development we may easily bring ourselves to make it as more importance as poetry than in itself it really is. We may come to use a language of quite exaggerated praise in criticizing it, in short to overrate it. So arises our poetic judgment, the fallacy caused by the estimate which we may call historic." However, he agrees with Taine that knowledge of the life of the poet, of his character and circumstances as well as his social milieu is essential for correct understanding. In order to guide the critic in the performance of his task, Arnold prescribes his well-known touchstone method. He points out that it is useless to lay down abstract characteristics of higher quality of a poem. He says, "There can be no useful help for discovering us most good, than to have always in one's mind lines and expressions of the great masters and to apply them as a touchstone to other poetry. Of course the other poetry may not resemble the lines and expressions. But if we have lodged the lines and passages of high poetry in our mind, we can find out absence or presence of high poetic quality in a work. These lines and passages from the great masters can be used as a touchstone for detecting the high poetic quality of a work. Then taking a few lines from Homer, Dante, Shakespeare and Milton, he points out how they all impress by their poetical quality. The touchstone method has obvious limitations. Lines, even passages when taken out of context, are often misleading. Moreover, the true worth of a work can be judged by its total impression and not by single line or brief passages. Earlier Arnold himself had stressed the value of the total impression. Here he contradicts his own earlier pronouncement. Yet, it is notable here that the comparative method suggested by him is an invaluable aid to appreciation of any kind of art.